VC. This is Aaron Mithalamer, and I noticed Carson Tucker did a video where he listed his 10 top Beatles songs, and I've only watched his and one other person's because I didn't want to have it influence me very much. But this is an extremely hard task. I seriously could make a top 100 and leave out some of my favorites because there's so many great songs they did. And these are just the 10 songs where when I listen to them on the record, and I just, every time I hear them, it just blows my mind. Something about them, I don't know what it is. I want to hear them again right away, but, I usually listen to vinyl, so I don't do that. But, for example, I made a short list of songs, and the songs I had to leave off are like Norwegian Wood, and I Want to Hold Your Hand, A Day Tripper, Help, A Little Help from My Friends, Tomorrow Never Knows, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Strawberry Fields Forever, Something, and Here Comes the Sun. And I just made a quick list of just ones that and those are the ones that didn't quite make my top 10. Here Comes the Sun was very close because the drumming on that, it's one of the most amazing drumming parts that Ringo ever did, I think. If you just focus on the drumming on that song alone, and then the song's so infectious anyway, but the drumming is just amazing on Here Comes the Sun. It's not something you really notice unless you're really listening for it. But, so here we go. Now, all my top 10 songs actually came from 5 albums. Nothing before Revolver quite made it. I love all the early stuff too, and some of their best songs aren't on this list. It's just so hard to pick Beatles songs, but these are the ones where when I hear the record, it's just like they really get me, and I'm getting really amped up over them. So I'm starting with a song from Magical Mystery Tour, and my song, my number 10 for me is "Baby You're a Rich Man." Very underrated Beatles song, and I just love the infectious chorus and just the raw energy of that song. And every time I hear it, it's like, oh, that should have been a huge hit, and it was a kind of a minor hit, but I just really love that song, "Baby You're a Rich Man," and just about the beautiful people. It's just great. So, okay, my next song is from the White Album, self-titled Beatles, and it's "Your Blues." Almost any song from the White Album I could have picked as my favorite Beatles record, but "Your Blues", it's so belligerent and just so much emotion in that song, and John's vocal performance, and it's just so raw, and I really love raw music. Just the energy and the feel is what I get more than the technicality usually is what I'm drawn to, although I appreciate technicality as well. But so that's my number 2, and my number 3 from Abbey Road, "I Want You, She's So Heavy." The whole instrumental ending part of that song just blows me away every time I hear it. Great vocals, great drumming, great guitar. Just that song, it's so heavy and I love that song. And Abbey Road is probably my second or third favorite Beatles record. I love every song on that, but whenever "I Want You" comes on, it's just I turn it up. I just start cranking it up. And for number 7, it's also from Abbey Road, "Oh Darling." "Oh Darling" is, I think, the finest vocal performance Paul McCartney's ever done, and probably the best Beatles vocal performance. If you listen to that song, it's just his vocals on that are just amazing, and I really love the song. It's actually my mom's favorite Beatles song. That might have influenced me a little on it, but the vocals on that blow me away every time I hear it, and I just crank it up like all these other ones. So, okay, my number 6 is from the White Album again. I consider this to be maybe the very first heavy metal song, and it's called "Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except for Me and My Monkey." And to John Lennon's song, it's very heavy, very fast, very catchy, and I just love that song. I think it's one of the roots of heavy metal, and for that alone, it's one of my top 10, and I just love the song anyway. And on the Escher demos, it sounds way different. It's really slowed down, acoustic, and a totally different song. It's really good that way too. So that's my number 6. Number 5, I'm going back to Magical Mystery Tour, a George Harrison song, "Blue Jay Way." The most haunting, dark song the Beatles ever did, I think. And it's really ethereal. You get a whole atmosphere listening to it. You listen to it just in a room with the lights off, and you feel like you're in the middle of, There's a Fog Upon LA, and it's just I love that song, and it's very underappreciated, I think, for what it is. I think it's a great song. Okay, and next up, number 4, going from Sgt. Pepper, A Day in the Life. Just an amazing song. It's very long and just has all these different parts. Paul and John both singing on it, and has so much going on in it that every time you hear a little something different, and the lyrics are amazing. Great song. I love that song. It's probably my favorite from that record. I'm a big Sgt. Pepper fan, but it's probably my 5th favorite Beatle record. But, you know, they're all great. So, okay, number 3. My only one that made it from this album. It's one of my very favorites. Maybe my 2nd or 3rd favorite Beatle records, from Revolver. It's the first song, Taxman. I love George Harrison. I love that song. I mean, all 4 of the Beatles. Yeah, but Taxman is just, every time I hear it on the radio occasionally, and I just crank that sucker up. It's so good. I love Taxman. The lyrics, just the energy of the song is so great. It really pained me not to put a Ringo Starr in here, because he was my original favorite Beatle when I was a kid. But it's just, there's so many great songs they did. It's hard. And then for number 2, going back to Magical Mystery Tour, I think the most underrated record, I Am the Walrus. That song is just crazy, and it's crazy good, and it's just, the lyrics are so out there. I love them, and the music, and just everything about that song I love. It's always been one of my favorites, even when I was a kid. Most people, most kids don't like the more weird stuff, but I've always loved that song. And for my number 1, back to Abbey Road, and I'm going Come Together as number 1. Just that song, it's just something about it. It just has this energy that is just like no other. And the drumming on that song is very, very good. I love the drumming. And Ringo Starr, being a left-handed drummer, he does drum fills a little different. So that's what gives him kind of a unique quality, I think, anyways, is because that drum roll he does in that song is hard to do for right-handed drummers. He's left-handed, so it's a natural fill for him. If you're going from the other side, it's a lot harder because you're going backwards, kind of. And I just really love that song. John Lennon's vocals on it, you know, all of it. The bass is amazing in it. That whole song is just probably my favorite. Ever since I was young, that was probably my favorite Beatles song. It's the one that really, you know, Octopus's Garden was my first favorite song, but that one, when I got a little older, is the one that really got me, and I became obsessed with the Beatles. And before my heavy metal phase in my mid-teens, it was, you know, I was a Beatle fanatic. I still am. I still love them. And that's a very cool thing that you're doing. And Carson, you got a lot of knowledge, and I really appreciate watching your videos. They're really good. And yeah, that's, like I said, I could have done 100 Beatles songs and left off a bunch that are some of my favorites. So, all right, rock on. Bye.